Greetings, beautiful relatives. My name is Nela Mahat. Welcome and welcome back to my channel, Rose Serpent Oracle. We're going to be channeling messages. Please, I would like to ask you to open your heart and your mind to receiving. So, taking a moment, consciously creating a space and allowing our ancient ancestors and our beloved Mother, Father, Creator to speak. I'm being guided to hold the space. I'm being guided to make people aware that this month of February is meant to trigger lots of clarity and lots of breakthroughs. Okay. Once again, I see all this water coming in, waves of water. And so this is initiation by water. So we're talking about a clearing, a purification. This is the mother energy of life. Mother is water, water is life, right? Mother water, the spirit of water coming in to trigger a deep clearing, a deep cleansing when it comes to our physical vessel, okay? And so it is important to know that this month of February is going to trigger, okay, it is going to trigger another layer of deep, intense emotions. And now, how we deal with this and how we experience it, I'm not going to be projecting, okay? It depends on your chemistry, how your body works. And also, they are saying, and how open you are to receiving this gift. What they're saying is, we're here to make you aware of what's unfolding in your life. They want you to know that this is happening and it's happening for you because the clearing, the purification is going to help you, okay, gain the clarity that you have been praying for. So this initiation by water, this purification is going to help us release internal blockages. And I'm seeing the hangman, the hermit. So this is really about consciously choosing to have a spiritual practice, to meditate, because what happens when you meditate? When you meditate, you are creating space to receiving a creator, to receiving Mother Earth, to receiving your loved ones, right? So this is really about being very intentional, creating sacred space to where you are in solitude, to where you are open to receiving the medicine you need. And now it is very important at this time, okay, to be conscious about how we're approaching these practices, meaning we want to show up we want to show up clean, if that makes sense, okay? Why? Because they are emphasizing the aspect of feeling. It is important. And also because this will give you, when we show up clean, open, and receptive, right? When we show up with receptivity, then that without fear of feeling, that's what they mean, okay? Then that's going to give you awareness of what's truly happening within your unconscious body that is triggering your physical body, right? So once again, you're being made aware that we're going through another clearing. You're being called to find a healthy way to move with this. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. So writing things down, for some people journaling, physical activities, resting if you need it. However, we want to find a way to also be proactive in our lives, right? So I don't know you, I don't know your life. We all have different lives, different responsibilities. So this message is just take it, for what it means for you in your personal life. So this is really about learning to navigate this clearing and this purification, right? This process of transmutation of pain, in a way that to where we don't get just completely shut down, because when pain comes and it's time to feel, it's very easy for us to go to extremes to where our mind is going to try to like shut down completely. So witness witness the narrative. You're gonna hear the voice of pain speaking. You're gonna hear stories, narratives. You're gonna hear the inner child. You're gonna hear the aspect of the feminine or the masculine. So witnessing is very important right now. But this month of February is meant to shake our inner foundations even more. So we're in a way we're diving into a task. We're diving deep into another layer. Okay, that needs to be exposed. Okay, because it's gonna. I'm seeing a tree and like the roots are ready to expand, but we have to like break through the soil to get really grounded. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to clear, right, anything that is no longer working the soil, if that makes sense. That's how I'm seeing it. So we are rooting ourselves. We're really grounding ourselves. We're meant to ground ourselves, our tree, as we are the tree. That's what they're saying, you know. And so we want to enrich everything. So Mother Water, the spirit of water, is coming to clear, right? Bring things into the awareness and then nourish. Okay, this is what the nourishment. This is the sacred space. This is you proactively doing things to show up for yourself as an act of self-love, as an act of acceptance, as an act of mindfulness. Okay, they're saying there's no need to force, there's no need to chase. They show me the hangman and the hermit again. So it is important to honor the process we're in, because things are no longer going to be the same, and how we are meant to move with the world is different. So there's a new way of life that is wanting to emerge. If that makes sense, emerge. Okay, so let me see, give me another word. So there's a new way of life that is trying to come into the surface. I see a word, but I cannot get it. Okay, but you guys know what I'm saying. It wants to be born. So we're being asked to work very differently. I'm seeing someone like tuning like a radio to like get a frequency, a radio station. So there's a lot about frequency and vibration, right? So there's a lot of clearing. And so we're like attuned. There's tuning in into a particular frequency energy. Okay. So it's once again, it's very important to understand that you have done nothing wrong. Anything that is not serving you, anything that is no longer supporting your growth, that is not helping you get grounded and even more rooted, is going to be exposed. Okay. And seeing a house, a home, I see land, property. So this feels to me, well, oh yeah, makes sense, right? Uranus in Taurus, right? Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus comes and shakes the earth and shakes our humanity and says it's time to awaken to a new way of living, to a new way of relating to ourselves, others, the world. This is change. This is Mother Earth saying, I'm calling you, okay, into let's go. We're going together, right? We're growing, we're evolving, we have been learning, we're closing an era. And so our inner foundations, the foundations of our mind, the foundations of our biology, everything, just like what you see there's changing when it comes to systems and foundations in the outside world, is also happening within us, right? Because change happens from the above into the below and from within out. So what we're everything we experience in the outer world is a representation, of humanity, our level of awareness, our level of consciousness. And so the earth is saying this is no longer gonna work. It's time for something new to emerge. I keep hearing that word and I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Emerging, like if you're underwater, emerging. I hope that that's making sense, man. Oh man. Okay. Have ease, have peace, right? We want to implement, we want to learn new skills, we want to work on our talents. It's important to see where are you being guided, where are you being asked to nourish, to nurture. Literally, right? Here comes the Empress, Venus energy. This is it. This is the energy of our Divine Mother. This is the energy of our Divine Mother within us, the Divine Feminine. So we are being asked to go through a process of purification, cleansing, and this is meant to activate us into creating, birthing something new, birthing a new way of life, a new way to manifest abundance, prosperity, right? Yes. And so, like I said, this is about our values, our priorities. What is your vision for your life? This is virtue versus vices, right? This new way of existing, it is a calling to correction. And so you're here, it's obviously because you're a truth seeker. It's obviously because you're going through initiation, right? Spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening is calling you into correction, into your evolution, into your ancestral healing. Why? Because you are here to play a very important part when it comes to what? Manifesting a new way of existing, because you are being given the opportunity to what? To bring healing to your family tree, to your lineage. And so you are being blessed with this gift. And the only way is change, right? Change. And listen, oh my God, I'm being drawn to this bird right here. It's a little birdie. When I came to this room like 10 minutes ago, I was in a deep meditation. They were like, okay, I'm gonna go and do what's guided. When I came, there was all these flocks of birds, but all of them were in front of my house, and I was like, what is going on in the land? And I was like, well, the land is fertile. It's fertile, sorry. Why are all these birds here and not somewhere else? And they were all there. I watched this bird for like 5 minutes. So it speaks of fertility. Okay, so I feel that there's a message of, as you allow yourself to go through this process of purification, the mother is going to make sure to clear, but she's also going to nurture, and you will be fertilized, right? So that you can take on your life. So you will be giving the solution to your problems. You will be giving, gifts and talents. You will be giving new opportunities. However, we have to be receptive. And I feel that it's important to really understand that life is no longer going to be the same. And what is going to unfold, we don't know, because the future is not written, it's not fixed. So the only way to move through what's truly happening in our lives is to go one step at a time and let us be aware that receptivity is very important, and releasing the aspect where we want to control everything. We get caught up in outcomes and particular things. And I can only speak for experience, but this journey had brought me into my humility, right? Because every time that I think one thing is gonna happen, and I'm fixated, and like it doesn't happen like that, or doesn't happen when I think it's meant to happen. It's so there's a degree here of really surrendering, and I feel like life is teaching us to, yeah, life is teaching us to learn to receive, right? Just balancing masculine and feminine, man, is different. And I don't know you, I don't know your life. Like I can, like, once again, I can only speak for myself, right? I'm so used to being independent and doing my own thing that, it's just yeah, it bring, when you have been living in survival, when you're a single mother, when you grow up with a single mother, like, oh, I have been seeing is just women who, they take charge, they're doing things, it's time to go, you have to go, survival, you have to go, you have to show up. And so there's a lot, at least for me, right, that I'm going through, to where I have to say, the creator is going to bestow upon you. It is okay to show up, but release the burdens, because sometimes I feel burdened by responsibility, obviously, as a responsible mother, right? So this is really about not going to extremes, because what happens if I'm all stressed out, and then my physical vessels suffer, and then I get out of my center. So I have to find a way to navigate life differently, to where I can honor the fact that I care and I show up, and having healthy independence is beautiful. But if I go to extremes, then I'm messing my health, right? And that's something that, yeah, it's a lesson, okay? And now the aspect of biology, right? That we are the result of many generations before us. So there's a reason why you have the struggle you have, and sometimes you might feel powerless, right? I know what is sometimes like, I'm trying to change this pattern. I really want to change it. There's something within me that's just like, I cannot get out of the freaking pattern. I find myself there. Well, guess what? The aspect of the biology, right? The aspect to where there are hidden emotions, there's hidden memories in my biology, in my unconscious, and I have to work through that, right? Because it's generational. And so most of us are blinded to that. I have to say, most of us, unless you're working on it, right? We're blinded. And so this month of February, sorry, is going to once again come in reveal. There's a revelation. Okay, your unconscious is going to show you what's happening. If it's not through your dreams or visions, when it comes to your manifestation, there is going to be emotions, there's going to be things that are going to be triggered. You're going to have to sit with it and say, what is it that is being revealed to me, right? What is it? Then there's the aspect of where, of course, we're receiving healing, right? In order to receive, you have to prioritize your commitments with the divine. You have to find the time to connect. Okay, meditation is medicine. Okay, so we have the Princess of Cups. So more water. It's water. Here it is. We have the turtle as a symbol of divine feminine wisdom, cycles of life, right? There's the fish that speaks of fertility too. The goose, right, with the golden egg, that is about new ideas. That's about wealth. That's about luxury. That's about grace. The swan too. That's what we're talking about, virtue, the feminine virtue. Okay. Then the Princess of Cups, though. There's a message from Princess of Cups. It's speaking about our capacity to soften, okay, our capacity to soften and to allow life to renew, to purify our waters. So we're talking about the sacral, the waters. There's a process of um, renewal, and the daughter needs to consciously connect with the mother, because what happens if she's disconnected? That's what it's, because they're showing me a true life and they're speaking about the daughter being disconnected. So what happens if they are apart, right? Oh, so it's about passing wisdom. It's about passing wisdom. Mm-hmm. So this is speaking of us as the daughters, and or yeah, as the children of Mother Earth, right? Creating that space in order to receiving the nourishment that will help us go through a process of renewing faith and manifesting from a place of innocence once again. So it speaks of inner child healing, healing the inner teenager too. Yeah. And also, okay, so vices versus virtues. And so this is speaking of correction, yeah. Healing the teenager within us, healing also our relationship with the females in our families. Mm. And healing the feminine. So the mother, Venus, the Empress, Mother Earth, is calling her children into a process of purification, renewal. She wants wisdom and guidance. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So here comes Saturn, Mars, and Capricorn. So Mars, Saturn, and Capricorn. So this is work, and this is the water. Okay, I want you to look at this water. This water is clear, right? It's reversed though. And here comes Mars and Aries. So Mars, the masculine, and Aries, and it's reverse. So before we can ground our manifestations, when we're seeking to co-create with the Divine Mother, though, we have to gain clarity and spiritual understanding. So this is a process that cannot be forced, that cannot be bypassed neither. So the Divine Mother is giving us a time of grace to where we're being honored. Now they're showing me the turtle, where we're being honored. So there is a process unfolding for each of us. There are cycles to co-creation and manifestation. The process of healing must be understood and honored, right? We're not meant to be comparing because everybody moves at their own pace. So there's divine timing and the divine unfolding is going to happen, right, in divine order. So this is speaking of Ma'at. This is speaking of divine order, okay? And so there is a merging of masculine and feminine. So the masculine is currently working on healing the aspect of just existing from the energy of the wounded masculine, okay? Where we are in, patriarchal ways. So the masculine is saying, who am I? What do I deserve? What do I desire? The feminine is calling him into going within to bestow wisdom, to reveal what is out of balance, what needs to be felt, seen, reevaluated. So we have masculine and feminine working together, and we're going through lessons when it comes to foundations and what is to exist in divine partnership within us first. So before we can ground something solid, there's a process of reevaluating our identity also with Mars and Aries. We're healing the wounded warrior. We're healing our sense of belonging. We're healing Chiron. And the mother is saying, yes, there's a new way. There's a new way to exist, and there's a new way to manifest things in life to where we can respect divine laws, the laws of nature. Boom, the Tower. Uranus, divine intervention. This is the shake off. This is also fire coming in. The fire of destruction. Initiating the masculine into reevaluating his ways. And remember, we all have masculine and feminine. The Prince of Disc reverse. So Taurus energy is reversed. So yeah, let me just get one more. And then worry. 5 of Pentacles. Okay, this is pure ancestral healing. So we are going through a process to where we have to reevaluate life. We have to understand that the work we're doing is beyond just our personal experience. You know, this is about the world. And this is about ancestral healing. And this is about us evolving and healing our relationship with existence, with life, with the creator, right? This is why we're asking ourselves existential questions. We're meant to be questioning everything. Why do I believe that I have to live in a struggle? Why do I believe that I'm a slave to life? Why do I believe that I have to follow what my family is saying? Why do I am following society? Why am I settling down in life? What has been the way that my family exists? What is the reason? What are the stories? What are the narrative? What is the programming? What is my understanding of money, of wealth, of prosperity? Where does true abundance come from and stability come from? Is it true that there's nothing out there for me, or is it the fear is keeping me blinded because I'm in this poverty, right? Am I resisting evolution? Am I resisting change? When I'm looking at family dynamics, what needs to be addressed? Do we have to change our communication? Do we have to move our family? Do I have to learn new skills? Am I ready to build something new? If I'm happy and fulfilled and I am in a relationship, am I ready to walk away? Because this is the 5 of Pentacles. And the Tower brings revelation. This is the answer to our prayers. So anything that is going to be showing up in your life right now is going to show you what is no longer working. And when we're going through this, it's very easy to go and look at the other. It's very important, okay? The message here is very important. When something happens, go within. What is keeping you bounded to the situation? Where is life asking you to change? How you relate to the creator? What is your relationship with money? What are your beliefs about money? What are your beliefs about relationships? What is a healthy relationship, right? Are there other opportunities for me to move forward, but I might be not wanting to get out of my comfort zone? So where am I keeping myself like inside a box? And then I become a martyr and I become a victim, because that's 5 of Pentacles, right? So there's a lot of work here. So this month of February and moving forward is really about change and gaining more clarity. Like I said, then that's gonna trigger us into moving forward. So all of this discomfort is meant to trigger us into changing. That's really what's happening. And obviously we're talking about, ancestral healing. So there's a lot of healing happening. So give yourself grace. Be very proactive. Know where you at on your journey. Take this seriously. because you're being given the liberation. However, you have to show up. This is just beyond the mental. You can convince yourself of all of the things you want. However, truth will always unfold and show you, right? It's like I can say I have changed and make it sound super nice, but then my actions are revealing. So have I changed really? To what degree, right? And now this is not me judging, this is not about judgment, but this is about seeing things for what they are, right? And then the understanding that healing happens when we are in the situations, right? Real freaking healing, the integration happens when you are out there, when you have to be, when you have to go through the discomfort of the situations, when life is gonna bring someone to trigger something within you. Why? Well, because if I'm hiding here in this house by myself, I can be speaking about being healed all day, but then what happens when I'm out there and I have to deal with life, real life situations, right? And so if life is presenting you with certain situations, well, ask yourself, where am I fixated? Maybe I'm afraid of learning new things. Maybe I'm stubborn. Maybe I am attached to particular outcomes, thinking that things are gonna come this way. But what if that this way is the easy way, and your lesson is to go the other way, where you're gonna have to humble yourself and start from zero? Ouchie, right? The ego doesn't like that idea, so I'm just gonna go this way. But then this way is not opening. Why is this way not opening? So pay attention, be aware, ask yourself important questions. This is really about being present and knowing what's truly unfolding in your life. Write things down. Critical questions. If you need help, reach out for help. Prayer, meditation. When you go to meditate, the Creator will pour upon you. Okay? But this is all I have for you guys. I love you so very much. Like I tell people, how I work is very differently, because I'm about that truth. It's not about the truth, my truth. Oh, this is my truth. No, this is about the work. The truth will set you free. However, most of the time make us feel freaking uncomfortable, because what do you mean that now I'm still moving through this? I'm gonna say yes. Change is upon us, and you're not the only one. Okay? All right, you guys, may you be blessed in your journey. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know if this resonated. I love you so much. I do. And this is why I honor you with integrity.